Hello, hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. My name is Penny, and I am your guide through this unique content development process. I'm going to be here to teach you how to create more engaging content that you want to post, that content that's going to help you reach more qualified customers online. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below, you're also going to see in the description box a few links. The first link that you're going to see is for my book, I Just Did a Thing. And in that book, I go into more detail about the science behind why tapping into your creativity helps you with your content creation, as well as some other big things like making changes in your business. And the second link that you're going to see down there is to subscribe to the Create Your Business program so that you can personally go through this process that I have been describing to you in all of my videos. And I'm going to show you how you can develop remarkable content when you experience creative activities and you do more, see more, think more, do things differently. And that's what the Create Your Business program is really all about. Okay, so today's video, it's a little different today. It's actually what I'm calling, I don't know what the word is, I'm going to use an open week. Normally this week I am doing my monthly training workshops, and then I upload them. And if you haven't caught any of them, or if you've seen a few of them but don't know where they all are, there is a playlist that I have set up. So you can go to my channel below and do the drop down and see the playlist, and you can see all of the workshops that I have done in the past, everything from SEO to content calendars. Well, today's a little different. I actually live in the Central Florida area, and there's a hurricane coming through. So when I saw it was coming through yesterday, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen today. Was my power going to be out? Is anything, horrible going to happen with my internet connection? So I canceled the workshop for today and shifted it into next week, when I'm sure I'm going to have much more, much more confidence, more confidence in being able to record that. So I just wanted to talk today. I wanted to talk and record something I've been working on with some of my clients, a productivity tip that I have developed in my own one-on-one VIP type sessions with my clients. It does touch on what we've been talking about this month about reaching your goals. And so it's a productivity tip that's going to help you stop going down the rabbit hole. Stop going, let me just do the strategy. Let me create this plan, and get you to take action. So today I want to talk through all of that. And so we are touching on goals and not so much metrics in this one as we have been with the other ones this month. But I want to fill you in on this process that I've been doing with my clients. But I want to walk you through these steps, and you can try this for yourself, because I've been doing this all year, and I know my clients are also experiencing some amazing insights from doing this process. So today, because we're having the open week and it's not the workshop that we're normally having, you get a free coaching session with me. This is what it's like if you were to work one-on-one with me. So the first thing that we do when I sit down with my clients and we talk about what you have going on, whether you're launching your product, whether you are, doing a program, a membership group, or maybe you're even starting your business and you've only been around a year and you're still struggling with everything. One of the things that I always tell my clients is to take a step back. And instead of trying to get into the micro things of it, looking at all of the trees in the forest and banging your head against one and trying to struggle through it, let's pull back, let's pull up and look at the forest. Let's look at it from a general perspective before we get specific. So if we talk about it from a general perspective, what I always say is think about it from your content buckets, your pillars, fill in the blank of whatever words that you want to use. But I talk to this more than just content. I refer to this as your buckets of work. So I have personally discovered that I work really, really well with just 4 buckets. And I don't advise anybody to go any higher than 6 because that's a lot of work. Because you got to keep in mind that each one of these buckets of work is going to be done in parallel with everything else that you're doing. So it's not like you're doing one bucket and then you stop and do and then finish that one and do another one. All of these things are happening at the same time. So when we think about what our buckets are, and I can even give you examples about mine, when I look at my 4 buckets, I'll go with that. And then I can give you some other examples of things that you can use. Like I said, I'm just kind of talking off the cuff here. I don't really have I've got a few bullet points that I want to talk through, but as you can see, I'm going to kind of ramble and meander through this and help you through this process. So when I look at my 4 buckets every single month, I know how much I'm able to manage and how much that I can get done. And my 4 buckets tend to help me more with what I refer to as SEO type marketing. I have moved myself more away from the social media type marketing into SEO type marketing. And when I refer to SEO, it's searchable type of program, searchable, like we write a blog post to be found on Google. We do videos on YouTube, videos on TikTok, putting pins up on Pinterest. All 4 of those platforms that I just mentioned are SEO based, meaning that somebody is going to these platforms with a question in mind, searching for something, and it is my goal to create the content. It is my goal to show up as an answer to the question that they typed in. So I look at my buckets, and one of my buckets is from a client work. I have a client that I do about 20 hours of work with, 20 hours a week of work with. So they fill up one of my buckets because it takes a lot of time for me to get their work done. Another bucket that I have is my YouTube channel. I really like growing my YouTube channel, and so that I spend time writing out content, recording these videos, publishing, editing, and all of that stuff that goes into it. And then another bucket that I am working on is what I refer to as the SEO program. So I'm spending time writing blog posts. I just finished up a guest blog post for somebody. And these are opportunities, again, where people can find me with a search. And under that SEO tag, I also put blogging, but I also put Pinterest with it too, because I know that that's another great way for people so I'm not just writing these blog posts and just putting them out there. I'm writing the blog posts to be shared onto Pinterest. So that's the opportunity that I can use with some sort of searchable platform. Again, if I wanted to do this on TikTok, I could do the same thing on TikTok because both Pinterest and TikTok are very search based. So we come from it from that perspective. And so that's one of my buckets. And then my last bucket is what I refer to as strategy. It's because I am in the process of not only working through the Create Your Business program, I'm also helping to think about how I can take this to the next level. So I have been working on growing my email list. I have been working on developing a new program that I'm going to be releasing at the end of this year, probably sometime in November. So that becomes my 4th bucket. So we want to focus on just these types of buckets. And some of these things let me give you some ideas too. So if none of those things kind of resonated with you and you're like, I like the idea of the buckets, but no, I don't want to do those buckets. So here's some ideas here. You could think about, one of your buckets could be working on your customer journey. How can you develop email sequences and content to take people from just the awareness to consideration to making a decision about your products? You could use one of your buckets to just grow your email list. You could think about, what strategy are you going to be maybe posting up something on LinkedIn, posting up something on one of your social media sites like Facebook or Twitter. You could be thinking about your lead magnet. You could be creating an ebook. So those are all the things that would fall under that bucket of growing your email list. Website development. That could be something that you're working on. Maybe you just kind of threw up a really quick website because you knew you had to have it, and you really wish that you'd have had a better one with landing pages and more places for you to blog and more places for you to add some more content about yourself. So maybe you want to rework your website. Perhaps you are starting out and you're still developing your products or programs. That's another one of your buckets. So as you can see that, as I always say, there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's just your way. So the examples that I gave you about my buckets doesn't mean that that's what everybody has to do, but those are mine. And so I want you to think about what your 4, 5, don't go any higher than 6 buckets would be. And so you want to think about it from as you go into every single week. You've got your buckets. What are you working on to grow the business within each one of those buckets? What am I doing to grow the business with growing my email list? What am I doing to grow my business by developing this product? What am I doing to grow my business to work through my email sequences of my customer journey? Think of it from that perspective. So then once we've got those buckets and we know where we're going and we know what we're working on, one of the things that I tend to do is I look at it from a 90-day perspective. I try not to do this for an entire year. So I look at from 90 days, what's going to happen in this quarter, and then I go month to month, how I can fit each one of these buckets into my schedule and the work that needs to be done. So when I have all of this together, and I've mostly got, I want to say, kind of sketched out some ideas. A few of these things, like the strategy is definitely much more specific and much more involved about the information that I've put in there. But most of it is just kind of like, okay, growing the email list by adding a new lead magnet, like those kinds of things. So when we get to that place, so we've got the buckets in place and we know what we're working towards, the big process that I have developed, because you've probably heard of these buckets before. This is not the first time anybody has said this. But the very next thing I'm about to share with you is something that I have been developing with my clients as well as doing this myself. And I am just amazed every single month when I do my check-in how much work I get done. It's a really, really simple thing. And I refer to it as RBI. RBI, research, brainstorm, implement. And what you want to do with this is each piece goes right after each other. You research something and you want to use a specific topic to research. And if you find yourself one of these people who is just like going to dive down and fall down the rabbit hole, give yourself a time limit. Say, okay, I'm only going to do this for an hour, or I'm only going to do this, have this done in 2 days. Because the idea is not to just go down this research rabbit hole and finding yourself going, oh, what about this here? And what about this here? And what about this here? Because that's so easy to do. We get ourselves so wrapped up into this research. Then we have all this information and we get so overwhelmed. When we look at it, we don't know where to start. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've had a client show up at a session with me and said, I've just spent the last 2 weeks researching all of this stuff. What do I do first? And so I have to go through their list with them and we have to prioritize the list with them. And then I say, okay, then my next thing is stop researching. You've done enough research. So you want to get to a place with the research that, like I said, if you need to give yourself a time limit, I only give myself a certain amount of time to research it. And when I'm done, then becomes the next step, which is the brainstorm. And when I refer to brainstorm, it's not just about sitting there and going, okay, let me just brainstorm some really quick ideas. This is the part where the Create Your Business program comes into play, because it's about doing some type of creativity, some type of creative activity for the brainstorming to actually take place. The idea is to find some type of activity that'll tap into that right side brain and allow the ideas to marinate, allow the ideas to form more than just a seed, but to grow a little bit of a sprout, and so that you can have some direction about where to go to. And if you're not big into doing anything creative, you could do something as simple as just going for a walk. Going for a 15-minute walk and thinking, when you walk out of the house, having a question in your mind and staying on that question. Try not to wander around. Try not to think, oh, how cute is that dog? Or, wow, that's a really good looking door. All that kind of stuff. So while you're walking, think through your head what it is that you were researching and what it is that you're working on. You could also daydream. Daydream is another way that you can tap into the right side of your brain. You could move to another space in the house. If you're always doing your work in your office, pick your stuff up and move to the couch in the living room. Because all of those things are going to happen. It's going to really stimulate the right side of your brain to help you take the ideas and the things that you've discovered in your research and brainstorm them into what works for your business. And you want to use this time, this brainstorm time, to think about how to innovate this. Because it's really great that you found all this information and it's really great that you want to use this for your business. But how are you going to differentiate yourself and innovate these ideas that you found, rather than just replicate somebody else's idea, rather than copy everybody else's pictures and, do the same Pinterest pins that everybody else is doing, or do the same video type of format that everybody else is doing? What can you do to innovate what it is that you have learned? And all of this comes together during your brainstorming sessions. This is why you want to take that time to brainstorm. You don't want to go straight from research into implement. You want to take that time to think through what you discovered and figure out how this is going to work for your business. And then you get to a place, once you've got all that together, and sometimes the brainstorm process could take a few days. I generally give myself at least 3 days. Sometimes more than that. Depends on what it is that I'm brainstorming. Because a lot of times the first idea that will come to you, you're like, okay, I like a couple of pieces of that. And the more that you think about it, the more that your brain takes mental possession of it, and then you find yourself sort of sorting through maybe one or two of these ideas, and these are the ones that are resonating with you, and so you go from there. But you may not have already started in that place, and that's why it takes the time. You want to give yourself the time to actually you want to give yourself the time to let the idea breathe, and for it to grow some new branches and all of these words. I'm confusing so many metaphors right now. It's not making any sense. It's not making much sense to me, but I think you're trying to understand what I'm saying. You just want to give yourself some time like that. So then we do the third part of the RBI, which is implement. And we move on to implement. And the idea behind this with RBI is you do not move on to the next research topic until you have implemented the action steps that you developed in the brainstorm. It's just that simple. You can't just keep spinning your wheels and research and maybe brainstorm and research without getting anything done. Because this is how the productivity process works. You can't move on to the next research topic until you've implemented the action steps that you've developed in your brainstorm. Now, let me give you a really good example about how RBI works. I was having this conversation with one of my clients, and one of the things that she came to me as one of her buckets was she said, I want to grow my email list. And I said, okay. That's a great bucket to have, because your email list is really a great prime area for sales. It's really a great prime area for you to grow your community. It's a great space to grow, because I truly believe that email is not dead, and it is still one of our best marketing opportunities that we have. So I said, that's great. Let's grow your email list. So we got together. And I said, okay, so what are the things? Let's research what we're, the ideas that you're going to do for your email list. And she said, I really don't know. I don't know what I should be doing. I don't know what to do with my email list. So I said, okay, we can still do RBI. So what we're going to do is research. I want you to research, find me 5 ways to grow my email list. And so we could research that email list and the email, how to grow your email list. And 5 things could be creating a lead magnet. It could be setting up a new form on your website. It could be thinking about how you're going to be promoting the lead magnet. It could be talking about what the lead magnet should be and why it's so important. It could be the welcome email series. They're just 5 things off the top of my head right there. So I said, so your research then comes up with those 5 things, and then I want you to take those 5 ideas and I want you to brainstorm. I want you to think about them all. How would you innovate them? What would you be doing differently? And then the implementation becomes not going through each one of those, but the implementation becomes putting a plan in place. Which one is your first one? Which one's your second one? Which one's your third one? Which is your fourth? And which one's your fifth? Putting the plan in place, that's the implementation. And then once we have implemented, because we put that list in place, then we can move on to the next research topic. So the next research topic would be, then specifically with this example, is then we go to what's the first thing that you said was on your list. What was the priority on your list? The priority on her list was developing an idea for the lead magnet. Why would somebody want to download this? What's its connection to her business? What is the value that it's going to be providing? How is it going to qualify a customer? Those kinds of things. So then we started back from the top. So the RBI started again. So the research now becomes talking about your lead magnet. Then you brainstorm. And then once you've brainstormed and come up with the ideas, then you implement, you create it, you develop the lead magnet wherever it's going to be, and then set it up on your website. And then you go down to the second part on your list. What was the second thing on your list? So then you move on to the next thing, and then you RBI that. So it's a really simple process, but it helps you get so much done. So I wanted to share this with you because, like I said, this is something that I have been doing for myself personally with my business, as well as having some other clients work through the RBI process. It's a fantastic productivity process. And I want you to keep in mind, as I always say, there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there is just your way. So the way that you research, the way that you brainstorm, the way that you are going to implement that has everything to do with you and who you are and how that you work. So I'm not going to give you any guidelines about how you have to research for 2 hours, for 2 days. You have to do this on this app. And that's not how this is going to work. It's going to work the way that you work, the way that you work in your work style, because that is going to help you stay with it. And RBI does not work if you do not work it. And RBI does not help you if you do not stay consistent with it. Those are 2 really important things that I share with my clients, and I'm sharing them with you too. And just as a little side note, and one of the things that I said to one of my clients the other day, and I just wanted to add this to the whole process too, I asked her that as she was moving through her RBI, and she's in the process of developing a membership program, I asked her, I said, why don't you keep notes or put a journal together of your process? What are you learning in your RBI, the research part of it? What happened during your brainstorm sessions? What did you learn when you implemented this? And all of this personal experience that she's developing this process and going through this on her own journey, I said, these are really, really great opportunities. And as you work through this, you're going to see how much content ideas is going to come out of it. A video series, training series. As a matter of fact, she actually came up with this idea to do these tiny trainings, like little 10-minute training sessions, based on our conversation that we were having with regards to the process that she was working through with RBI. And you can look at it also from the perspective of, as you're moving through this, these become touch points in the consideration phase of the customer journey. These become touch points and how to get people not just aware of it, but when they're looking for the answer and they want to hire somebody or they want to work with a business, that your business is the one that they start to consider. That's the main part of that customer journey. So there's a lot here that I put together, but like I said, I was just really wanting to share this information because I have an open week. And I may just end up doing more of these types of videos too. I really enjoyed just kind of sitting here with a couple of bullet points in front of me and just talking. Because this is what it feels like when I work one-on-one with my clients. I don't have a script. I don't have any, thing that I'm going through, because it's just whatever the client needs and whatever we're working on is what we focus on. And so that's what it was like. So there you go, folks. There is your free training session for today. And like I said, I think I will do a few more of these, especially if I find that you guys like these a lot. Then I will definitely be doing more of these. And as always, I always want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today with this creative process. And if you've enjoyed this content and you want to learn more about creativity, I hope you will consider subscribing to this channel. And for those of you ready to dig into the deep work of developing your content marketing strategy, and you really want to learn more about this process, more about, like the RBI, more about the interactive workbooks that come with the Create Your Business program, the link is below for you to subscribe. And I guarantee you that you will find yourself stop saying, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do with my marketing messages. And you're going to start believing that you do know what to come up with your marketing messages, and you do know what to do to see results. That you will find yourself in a place where you find your confidence to reach qualified customers online. Seriously, my friends, if a self-study program and a subscription box had a baby, it would be the Create Your Business program. This is a program for entrepreneurs who are ready to tap into their creativity so that they never run out of content ideas again. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.